Crafty Kate, and I run a small crochet business. On this channel, we talk all things yarn and crochet. Today is actually market day, so today is Thursday. It's my second farmer's market of the summer. So I'm gonna take you with me to the market today, do the setup, show you the before and after, and then do a recap at the end of the video. But I also wanted to go over everything I made over the last week for my market. So last week's market, as you know if you've seen that video, was huge. And so I had a lot of market prep to do. So I've been very, very busy this week. That's why I haven't videoed anything until now. But I want to go over everything that I made before the market. And then we'll go to the market later today. It starts at 3, so we'll head out around 2. So the first things that I made were, I wanted to replenish my mystery boxes. So I made 5 new little patterns for my mystery boxes. They're not all new patterns. I think just 3 of them are new patterns, but I wanted to share those with you. So first thing I made was this little turtle. This is by Stitches by Patty. It is a free pattern on Instagram. All of these are free patterns on Instagram, so I will link them down in the description. This one I made with burnout blanket yarn and a 6.5mm hook. I did change quite a few things about this pattern. It ended up really, really cute, but I think I changed just about everything about it. So I did one less row in the shell because I felt like it was going to stick up too high. If you saw my mystery box video, I have been having a hard time getting these to fit in my little mystery boxes. So I was afraid it was going to be too tall. So I did one less row in the shell, and then I did, I believe, one less decrease row down here. I got down to 12 stitches, I think, and then just sewed it closed. So one less there so it didn't stick down too far that way. And then I also think I did one less row in the head. I can't remember exactly, but the way her pattern is, like, without changing it, is really, really cute. I don't think it would have fit in my box. So I changed it a little bit, but everything else, like the little feet and the way they are, is really cute. All you have to do is sew the head on. Everything else is no sew. So that's always fun. So that's this little guy. And then the next one I did was this little eagle, little tiny guy. This is by 321 Crochet. And this one I made with Elise Veludo and a 6.5mm hook. So I originally started with Parfait Chunky, and it was going to end up like itty bitty. So that would be really cute for a keychain, but I wanted it to be a little bigger for my box. So that's why I did it a little bit bigger, but it turned out really, really cute. So I love this one. I did not change anything about this pattern. I just did it as written, and it turned out perfect. So there's that one. And then I did another little stingray from the Chez du Cotton pattern. It's free on Instagram. I love the way these guys work up. It's all in the round, so it's completely no sew. Just quick and easy. I did Elise Veludo for this one, 6.5mm hook, and it just turned out cute. Perfect. So there's that guy. And then I made another little duck. I love the ducks. I wanted my mystery box things to be different, and I had already made a yellow one, so that's why he's purple. He's a little goofy looking. This is by When Crafty Penguins Fly. So I did not change anything about this pattern. And this is burnout blanket yarn. Oh, I just lied to you. I did change something. This is burnout blanket yarn and a 6.5mm hook. So what I changed was the beak, which I did in the last one too. They have 2 different options for beaks in the pattern, and I didn't want to do either one. So what I did was just made a chain 3 and then cut it with short ends on both sides. And then I just pull it through the head and tie it on the inside. So it makes it look a little more duck-like. The 2 they have, one was just embroidering it, which would make it look more like this, which to me makes it look like a chicken. And then the other one is like a little round crocheted piece that you sew on. So I just did that, and I think it looks cute and it's easy. So there's that. And then the last one I did, I am so obsessed with. I actually made a couple more that I'll show you in a minute. But this is the Tiny Octo by Sweet Softies. This one is actually a YouTube tutorial, and it is so quick. It literally takes 10 minutes, and it is so cute. I made this one with a Elise Veludo and a 6.5mm hook. It ended up a little bit tiny, so that's why I added a keychain. My mystery boxes are $8 each, so trying to make an $8 item. But yeah, he turned out so cute, and it's so quick. I love it. So, and then I wanted to go over real quick my mystery boxes and how I make them. I have a whole video about my mystery boxes if you want to go check that out, but I just wanted to go over it real quick. So all 3 of these things I get on Amazon. I will have those linked in the description. So I get these little boxes. I believe they're 4x4x4, so they're square, 4 inches by 4 inches. And then I buy the little question mark stickers that I stick on the front, so they're all different colors, so everyone looks different and fun. And then I bought a separate pack of, like, I think they were called cute stickers. So it's like a whole bunch of stickers, and then I just go through and pick 2 for each box to throw in there as a little extra thing to go with the item. So each box gets a question mark sticker, 2 stickers in the bottom, and then the little item on top. And then I just close it up. And then a lot of you in the last video mentioned I should put tape here to close them up so nobody can peek. So I have been doing that. I add just a little tiny piece of tape to keep it closed. And that's my mystery box. So all of those things can be found on my Amazon store. And like I said, I will link those in the description. But yeah, it's just a perfect quick little way to display those. And I love the different color question marks because it makes it extra colorful and fun. There are also colored boxes on Amazon, but they're a little more expensive, so that's why I just went with the white ones. So I'm gonna get these all packed up, and then I will go over the rest of the stuff that I made because I made a lot of stuff. Okay, so here are all 5 mystery boxes all ready to go. So these are $8 a piece, so that's $40 of inventory ready to go for my market. So there are those. And then, like I said, I loved that little octo pattern from Sweet Softies so much. I made little tiny keychains. So these are going to go in my $5 bin. So I made this one with the plastic eyes, and it was really hard to get the eyes inside this teeny tiny little thing. So the next one I did little embroidered eyes. I think next time I will do the embroidered eyes, but I might put them 1 stitch closer together because I think it's really cute. I just think they're a little bit too far apart. But like I said, these take 10 minutes or less. They are so fast and so cute. So cute little $5 items. So that's another $10 for my market. And then because I sold 2 of the little hanging car hanger kitty things from the last market, I made 3 more. So I made a cute little black one because I sold the black one I had. I made another hot pink one. And then I made a fun sparkly purple one. This one's my favorite. Purple is my favorite color. So those are each $10. So we have another $30 in little kitties. They all want to show you their butts. So there's $30. And that is the free pattern that I use from Instagram for the bigger ones. Those are all made with Parfait Chunky or Posh and a 4.5mm hook. So that's how I make them so tiny. And then these are my best sellers. So this is the same pattern but made with Bernat blanket yarn and a 6.5mm hook. So I charge $10 for these as well because it takes the same amount of time basically. So I made 7 of these. Black is my best seller, and I actually had a black left over from last time because I had extra blacks. So we have 2 blacks, and then I made 6 more. Let me see if I can grab them. I'm trying to use up a bunch of these Bernat colors, so a lot of them are repeats from what I had before, but still cute. So I made one of these tweed ones, this fun one, this Bernat. It's almost gone, but it is like the really, really stiff, thick stuff. So this one hurt my hands quite a bit, but she just turns out so cute. So I made that one. And we got the orange one. This is one of the mystical colors. So cute. And then I made a light pink one. And then this variegated one. It's funny, this and this are very similar, variegation, if that's a word. But this is like really, really soft, like one of the softest Bernats. And then, like I said, this one is terrible. So, but really, really cute. So I made 7 of those. So that's $70 more of inventory. And then I made another tie-dye sea turtle. They're one of my favorite things to make with the tie-dye yarn. So I made this cute little guy. He's got pretty blue eyes. This is one of the Premier Basics chenille tie-dye yarns. And then the green is Premier Basics Brights. That's what I'm switching to once I use up all my Bernat. I'm going to switch to Premier Basics and Elise Velluto. So here's this guy. Really, really cute. This is a free pattern I use on YouTube. I will have it linked below. I've made a ton of these and I've sold a ton of these. So really, really cute. I've been charging $15 for these. So that's another $15. And then I made another little jumping spider. So last market I sold 2 jumping spiders that were more realistic, like black colors. So I wanted to make a tie-dye one. So this is the Premier Basics chenille tie-dye again, and then Basics Brights back there. So cute. I do 14 millimeter eyes and 12 millimeter eyes for these guys, and I charge $10 for these. They're really quick and easy. This is an Etsy pattern, so I'll have that linked below for you guys. I have also sold quite a few of these, tie-dye and non-tie-dye. So another 10. And then last, I made more of the bigger loaf cats. So this is Max the Market Kitty, the pattern from the Cozy Buckeye that I tested recently. I love them because they're just a little bit different than the Annie Caraway art one. It's just a little quicker and the ears are a little bit different and they stand out more. So I made 4 of these guys. I don't know which one my favorite is. They're all so cute. So I made a black one with pretty green eyes. I love this one. So I thought that was so cute. So there's that one. And then I made this one because I had somebody request this color at the last market. She actually ended up buying this one. And she said, oh man, if you had a bigger one, I would buy that one. So I figured I would make a big one. I love the blue eyes on that one. So there's that. And then I made 2 tie-dye ones. And they're just all so cute. I can't handle them. So this is the pretty pastel one. And then, I don't know what this one is called, but it's one of my favorites. And the green eyes just match so perfectly. All these eyes are just the disc ones. They're not hand painted or anything. But they are 18 millimeters. Nope, that's a lie. These are 16 millimeter eyes. I'm trying to use up a couple that I got from Amazon. So these are the 16 millimeter eyes on these guys. 6.5 millimeter hook. This is Premier Basics chenille. And the other 2 are Bernat Blanket. So there's those guys. Last market I charged $15 for these and they just flew off the shelves. And I realized that my markets last year I was charging $18 for these and I was still selling them like crazy. So I'm hoping it doesn't mess me up, but I'm going to charge $18 for these guys for this market. So we'll see how that goes. I hope it doesn't stunt their sales, but we'll see. So that's another 4 times 18, whatever that is. So I did the math for everything that I made. I made $247 worth of inventory in a week. So I've made all of this stuff since Thursday last week. So I'm very proud of myself. That was a lot of stuff to get made. And then I also have 2 custom order Ram snugglers that I have to get out by tomorrow. So, and I haven't even started those. So I'm a little bit stressed out. I'm hoping to take some yarn with me to the market to work on the horns at least to get those done. And then tomorrow morning will be spent making those rams and getting them out before 5 so that they're at the post office on time. So that is the plan going forward. We're going to head to the market here in just a couple hours and I will show you all the setup and everything. And then we'll do a recap after that. Okay, we are all set up here at the market. I have my sister this time. There's Paige. And we're ready to go. Let me flip the camera. And then I have my fun Max Carpetworks bag over here with all my stuff in it. Definitely my go-to bag for trips. Good morning. It is the next day. It is Friday. I'm going to do a little recap for you guys. As you can see from the before and after, we had a very, very successful market. It was so much fun. It was actually bigger than the last one, which was not expected at all on my part. And then I just really quick wanted to mention that I did have my Max Carpetworks project bag with me, and I used it a ton, and I love how much stuff I can fit in there and all the pockets that organize everything. And I was able to get a bunch of the ram snugglers done that I need to get out today. So while I was at the market, I got all of their legs done, legs and arms, and then after the market I finished their bodies. So I'll be making the rest of those later today, probably off camera. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that I have the large size of the project bag from Max Carpetworks, and I will link those down below with a coupon code to get 10% off if you're interested in getting something like that. They also have some really cool needle and hook cases that are long and pretty and flat, and they have pockets inside for your needles or hooks or ami sticks or anything like that. So that is down in the description. And then before I go over everything, I just wanted to mention I might not have as many pictures in this one to show every single thing that I sold, because it is a lot of the same stuff as the last video. So if you are interested in those patterns, you can go check out that video, or I think I mentioned a bunch of them at the beginning of this video. So if I missed something or you can't find something, just ask, and I have no problem sending you the pattern information for anything. But I'll try to add as much as I can down in the description, but I might not add as many pictures. But you can always go back to the before and after of the market to see kind of what those look like if you'd like. Okay, so as far as numbers, this was my second farmer's market, and the booth fee is only $20. So $20 booth fee. And then I sold a total of 50 items, which is only one more item than last week, but there were a couple much bigger items that sold this time. And then we had quite a few more people pay with card this time instead of cash. Last week was mostly cash. So my square fees were a little bit higher, but only $6.29. So not bad at all. So total for the market, I brought home $637, which is my second best market ever. And then minus the $20 booth fee and the $6.29 square fees. So not bad at all. I am very, very excited about that. And then I'll just go over what sold. We sold 4 things from the $5 bin. And I wrote down what those were. So one of them was an ice cream cone from the free pattern from Stacy Makes. And then the 2 octos that I made, the 2 little tiny octos from Sweet Softies that I made that were little keychains. We sold both of those. And then one of my chickens that I just free-handed. So very excited to sell those little octos. So I will definitely be making more of those. Those were so fun. And then we sold 5 things from the $8 bin. I did not write down what those were because they were very random, kind of one-off things. I think there was a ghost in there from Halloween. I don't remember what those were, but so 5 from the $8 bin. And then I went with 10 mystery boxes, and we sold all 10. So that was very exciting. My sister and I actually did a little guessing game to see who could guess what would sell first. And I chose a mystery box, and I won. She chose the little mini loaf cats, which we sold next, but I still won because we sold the mystery box first. So all 10 of those. So I went over those a little bit earlier in the video, some of the stuff that was in there. And then we sold 4 of the car hangers. 3 of them were the little cats that I made earlier in the video. And then one of them was some little cherries that I had that I just freehanded, so probably won't make any more of those, but those sold. And then we sold one of the tie-dye spiders that I had. It wasn't the one I made at the beginning of the video, but it was the other one. So tie-dye spider for $10. And then we sold 5 things out of the $10 bin. And I did write down what those were. So the mystery box video that I made from the first time when I was making $10 items that ended up not fitting in my little boxes, all of those items ended up going in the $10 bin. So the little turtle that I made for that, the little whale, I think that's the only 2. So both of those sold. And then from my free pattern video recently where I did 5 free Instagram patterns, I made 2 little dragonflies that I had put in the $10 bin. Both of those sold. And then the little platypus from Avery Crafts a Lot sold. So I'll link some of those patterns down in the description. And then we sold 2 of my bigger octos that I sell for $10. That's a free pattern from Stitchin' with Abby. We sold 2 of those. And then the mini loaf cats that are always my best sellers, we went with 10, and we sold 7. What I thought was interesting was I had 2 little black cats because the black is usually my best seller, and we ended up with the 2 black ones left. And then a dark gray one. So black is not doing as well this year as it did last year, which is interesting, but we still sold 7 of them. So besides the mystery boxes, which we sold 10 of, the mini loaf cats are still one of the best sellers at 7. And then I had a little jumbo mallard that is a free pattern from Instagram that I sold for $12. And then one of the little cactus pops from Cable and Canvas sold for $15. And then one of the little sea turtles that I made recently from the free pattern from YouTube. Not the one that I made to take to this market, but the one from last week, I believe. That one sold for $15. One of my little Fury dragons sold for $15. It was the toothless one. The little toothless and the light Fury get a lot of attention, but that was the first one that has sold. So one of those for $15. And then the medium loaf kittens, I think I mentioned earlier, I raised the price from $15 to $18 because I realized last year I was selling them for $18 and it didn't seem to affect the sales at all. So I went with 4 and I sold 3 of the 4. So that was exciting that I can use that higher price. And then the Pokemon that I had, the little Pokemon character with the Pokeball that they could sit inside, I had at $30 last week, and so many people were like, oh my gosh, $30 for that. Wow, that's crazy. So I dropped those to $28 and ended up selling both of them. So the little $2 price decrease for those was very helpful. So now I'm completely out of Pokemon. And then my little bighorn sheep that I made from my own pattern, that sold for $35. That girl was so excited to have that. I was so excited for her to take it. And then my hammerhead shark that was like a mama hammerhead shark with a little pouch in her belly for the baby to go into. It was a pattern test I did for Chez Du Cotton, I think is how you say their name. I sold that one for $45, and that girl was just looking for a shark of any kind, and when I showed her that the baby went in the little pouch in the belly, she was so excited. So sold that for $45. And then the last big seller that actually sold, I think very last when we were about to pack up, was my mini anchor, the octopus. I was so excited. This girl grabbed it and was like, we want this. And I sold that one for $60. So that was very exciting as the big sale of the day. So now we are down one of our big kind of attention getting items, but that's definitely okay. I was very excited for that guy to go home. I've had him for quite a while. I think I made him right after Christmas. So he's been around for 6-7 months. So very exciting for that guy to go home. And that pattern is by Humble Child Co. I will link that in the description. I have the mini anchor and I have the big, like, full-size anchor. I've never made the full-size one. But very fun to make and very cool for people to see because it's so realistic. So I think that is pretty much all the information I have for you in this video. Like I said, if there's any patterns that I missed down in the description that you'd like to know, just ask and I will get that to you. For an emoji for this week, for making it all the way to the end of the video, let's do an octopus in honor of Anchor going home. And thank you so much for watching all the way to the end and for sticking with me through all this chaos we have going right now. And my next video, I think I'm going to do a yarn review. I got some of the Cozy Cub yarn, so I'm going to review that. And then I also got some new crochet hooks that I want to show you guys that I'm very excited about. I finally found some that I really like. So that will be in the next video, hopefully on Monday, possibly Tuesday. We are running a little bit late. I have this huge list written up of all the things I want to make for the next market. I do have another farmer's market coming up on Thursday again. So this will be the 3rd week in a row. And then we get 3 weeks off. So got to prep a ton for that. And then I also wanted to remind you about the PalmStreet that I have on next Saturday, the 26th at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'm not going to be making many plushies specifically for PalmStreet this time. It will be what I have left from my market. But I am going to try to paint quite a few sinker eyes. So I will have those. I have just a few of the white pupil 25 millimeter, and then I will have 14, 16, 18, 20, and 25 millimeter of regular black pupil eyes. So I don't know how many sets of each I'll have, but hopefully enough that you can all get some if you would like them. So definitely go bookmark that if you haven't already. We're trying for 75 bookmarks, and I will do a giveaway. So you just go to the live and then hit the little bell icon that tells you that it will notify you when the live starts or whatever. So that's considered a bookmark. So if you haven't done that, definitely go do that. We'll try to hit 75 before that happens. Okay, I think that's enough rambling for the end of the video. I told you it was the end of the video like 2 minutes ago. So I think that is it. So thank you guys all for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!